Welcome to Whisper Facts 101. Here is 101 fascinating facts about NFL. The NFL wasn't always the powerhouse it is today. When it was founded in 1920, it was called the American Professional Football Association and consisted of only 10 teams, many of which no longer exist. The league was primarily based in small towns like Canton, Ohio. It wasn't until 1922 that it became the National Football League. The NFL's growth from a minor league into the most dominant sports organization in America is a testament to its adaptability, aggressive marketing, and cultural resonance with fans across generations. The Super Bowl, now a cultural phenomenon, wasn't originally considered the grand finale it is today. The first Super Bowl in 1967, between the Green Bay Packers and Kansas City Chiefs, wasn't even a sellout and aired on two networks simultaneously, CBS and NBC, due to disputes over broadcast rights. Now it's the most watched annual sporting event in the United States, attracting millions of viewers and generating billions in revenue through advertising and merchandise. The longest NFL game in history took place on Christmas Day in 1971 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins. It lasted 82 minutes and 40 seconds, going into double overtime before the Dolphins secured the win with a field goal. The grueling match led to significant changes in how the NFL approached holiday scheduling, as fans complained about the length disrupting family time during Christmas celebrations. NFL players wear sophisticated equipment today, but it wasn't always this way. In the early days, players wore leather helmets without face masks, and many didn't even wear pads. Safety was not a major concern. It wasn't until the 1950s and 1960s that equipment significantly evolved to prioritize player protection. Today, helmets are fitted with sensors, and players are carefully monitored to reduce the risk of concussions and traumatic brain injuries. The NFL draft is a massive spectacle today, but its first iteration in 1936 was a quiet affair. Held at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Philadelphia, the draft had no live coverage, and the first pick, Jay Berwanger, chose not to play professional football at all. In contrast, the modern NFL draft draws millions of viewers and serves as a multi-day entertainment event showcasing college talent and team strategy. The Lambeau Leap, one of the most iconic touchdown celebrations in the NFL, originated in 1993 when Green Bay Packers safety Leroy Butler jumped into the stands after scoring a defensive touchdown. Since then, the move has become a celebrated tradition at Lambeau Field, with fans eagerly awaiting a player to score just so they can be part of the leap. It's become a symbol of the close bond between Packers players and their community. The New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers share the record for the most Super Bowl wins, each boasting 6 championships. However, their journeys to the top couldn't be more different. The Steelers dominated in the 1970s under coach Chuck Noll and quarterback Terry Bradshaw, while the Patriots found success in the 2000s and 2010s, largely under the leadership of coach Bill Belichick and quarterback Tom Brady, creating a modern dynasty. The NFL is the only major U.S. sports league with a salary cap that applies to both a minimum and a maximum amount of player spending. This system is designed to promote competitive balance, forcing all teams to operate within similar financial constraints. However, teams often manipulate contracts using signing bonuses and other mechanisms to stay under the cap while retaining top talent, adding a layer of strategy to team management. The infamous Tuck Rule game in 2002 between the New England Patriots and Oakland Raiders changed the course of NFL history. A controversial call ruled Tom Brady's apparent fumble as an incomplete pass, allowing the Patriots to retain possession and eventually win the game in overtime. This victory set the stage for New England's first Super Bowl win and launched Brady's legendary career, sparking debates that still linger among fans today. The NFL has a unique structure compared to other leagues, as it operates under a form of socialism in terms of revenue sharing. While individual teams are privately owned, the league evenly splits its lucrative television revenue among all 32 franchises, regardless of market size. This helps ensure smaller market teams like the Green Bay Packers can financially compete with large market giants like the Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants. The Green Bay Packers are the only publicly owned team in the NFL, a stark contrast to the other 31 franchises, which are privately owned. Fans can actually buy shares in the team, though these shares don't pay dividends or increase in value. Still, ownership is more symbolic, granting fans a voice in team meetings and a sense of community. This unique model has helped preserve the team's roots in a small market and fostered one of the most loyal fan bases in sports. Before the NFL merger in 1970, there was a fierce rivalry between the NFL and the American Football League, AFL. The two leagues competed for players and viewers, driving up salaries and television rights. The tension culminated in a merger agreement that led to the formation of the modern NFL, complete with two conferences, AFC and NFC, and an annual championship game known today as the Super Bowl. The NFL's Sunday ticket package has played a massive role in the league's popularity explosion. Originally launched by DirecTV in 1994, it allowed fans to watch out-of-market games from any team, not just the ones aired locally. This innovation turned casual fans into diehards and helped teams like the Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers build national and even international fan bases, extending the league's reach beyond geographic boundaries. The NFL once banned end-zone celebrations entirely, sparking widespread criticism from players and fans. In the early 2000s, the league sought to curb excessive displays by implementing strict rules and fines. But in 2017, the league reversed course, once again allowing group celebrations and creative antics. This change led to a renaissance of joyful, choreographed celebrations, adding a fun, theatrical element back to the game. Though it may seem modern, instant replay was first introduced in the NFL all the way back in 1986. The original system was rudimentary, allowing limited plays to be reviewed by the booth. However, complaints about delays and inconsistency led the league to suspend replay use in 1992. It wasn't until 1999 that replay returned with major improvements and a challenge system, revolutionizing how close calls are judged. The Dallas Cowboys are famously dubbed America's team, but the nickname didn't originate from the franchise itself. It came from a 1978 NFL Films highlight reel that referred to the Cowboys by that title due to their national popularity and widespread fan base. The name stuck, and the Cowboys capitalized on it with marketing, branding, and an identity that endures to this day, even among fans who love to hate them. The 1982 NFL players' strike led to one of the shortest seasons in league history, with only 9 games played per team. The disruption forced the NFL to create an unusual 16-team playoff format known as the Super Bowl tournament, where division standings were ignored. Though controversial, the format resulted in thrilling games and showcased the league's resilience in adapting to labor disputes and logistical chaos. While today's NFL stars can earn tens of millions per year, early players often had to work second jobs. In the 1940s and 1950s, it wasn't uncommon for players to sell insurance, work in factories, or even teach school during the off-season. The modern rise in player salaries, fueled by television revenue and endorsements, reflects the incredible commercial success the league has achieved in the last few decades. The concept of the franchise tag was introduced in 1993 as a way for teams to retain key players who might otherwise leave in free agency. It allows a team to keep one player for an additional year at a high salary, typically the average of the top 5 players at that position. While beneficial for teams, many players view it as restrictive, sparking debates about player rights and fair compensation. NFL teams fly an average of 20,000 to 25,000 miles per season, crisscrossing the country for road games. West Coast teams like the Seattle Seahawks often log even more, leading to concerns about travel fatigue and time zone changes. The NFL tries to mitigate this by scheduling back-to-back road games or bye weeks strategically, though the intense travel remains a physical and logistical challenge for teams each season. The NFL Combine, held annually in Indianapolis, is one of the most scrutinized and data-driven events in football. Prospective draftees are tested in everything from the 40-yard dash to vertical leaps and even psychological evaluations. Yet, some of the league's best players, like Tom Brady and Jerry Rice, performed poorly at the Combine, proving that raw athletic metrics don't always capture a player's future greatness or on-field intelligence. The Snow Bowl game between the Buffalo Bills and Indianapolis Colts in December 2017 was one of the most visually stunning games in NFL history. Over 16 inches of snow fell during the game, making it nearly impossible to see the yard markers. Players were literally buried in snow after tackles, and fans witnessed a surreal, old-school football brawl that emphasized grit and physical endurance over strategy and finesse. NFL cheerleaders have become an iconic part of game day entertainment, but their role is far from glamorous in terms of compensation. Despite performing in front of tens of thousands of fans and representing the league at events, many cheerleaders historically earned wages below minimum wage. Lawsuits in recent years have exposed the inequities, leading to changes in contracts and better recognition for the work they put in. The NFL's international reach has expanded rapidly, especially with the launch of the NFL International Series in 2007. Games held in London and Mexico City have introduced American football to millions of new fans. In fact, the league is actively exploring the possibility of having a permanent team based in Europe, particularly in London, signaling just how global the sport's ambitions have become in the 21st century. The Minnesota Vikings Stadium, US Bank Stadium, has a roof made from a clear material called ETFE, which allows natural light to flood the field, mimicking outdoor conditions while maintaining climate control. However, the material proved to be dangerous for birds, leading to numerous avian deaths. Conservation groups have since pressured the team and city to retrofit the stadium to make it more wildlife-friendly. Fantasy football, once a niche hobby, has become a multi-billion-dollar industry tied closely to the NFL's popularity. Millions of fans manage virtual teams, track stats obsessively, and even participate in office leagues or high-stakes competitions. The NFL has embraced this culture, integrating fantasy stats into its broadcasts and offering official platforms, knowing that it keeps fans engaged with even the most obscure games and players. The infamous Bountygate scandal rocked the NFL in 2012 when it was revealed that New Orleans Saints defensive players were allegedly paid bonuses for injuring opponents. The fallout was massive. Head coach Sean Payton was suspended for an entire season, defensive coordinator Greg Williams was indefinitely suspended, and multiple players were disciplined. The incident led to major policy changes in how the NFL addresses safety and disciplinary enforcement. In 2013, the NFL reached a $765 million settlement with thousands of former players over concussion-related injuries and chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE. The lawsuit revealed the league's long history of downplaying brain injuries and pushed major reforms in equipment, game rules, and medical protocols. Today, independent neurologists must clear any player suspected of head trauma before returning to the field, marking a significant shift in the league's priorities. The Denver Broncos are the only team in NFL history to have 3 different quarterbacks win a Super Bowl MVP award while playing for their team. Those quarterbacks are John Elway, Peyton Manning, and more recently Von Miller, although Miller was a linebacker, not a quarterback. This showcases Denver's knack for assembling elite talent on both sides of the ball in the league's biggest moments. The Madden curse is a superstition that started when several NFL players featured in the cover of EA Sports' Madden NFL video game later suffered injuries or performance declines. High-profile victims include Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, and Rob Gronkowski. While statistically inconclusive, the curse has become a part of NFL lore and has made players superstitious about appearing on the game's cover. The 1972 Miami Dolphins remain the only team in NFL history to complete a perfect season, going undefeated through both the regular season and the playoffs, culminating in a Super Bowl victory. Coached by Don Shula and led by quarterback Bob Greasy and running backs Larry Kasanka and Mercury Morris, this squad has become legendary. Every year, surviving members reportedly toast with champagne when the last unbeaten team loses, preserving their legacy as the league's lone perfect champions. The NFL's Color Rush uniforms were introduced in 2015 to spice up Thursday Night Football. Each team wore vibrant, monochromatic uniforms that often clashed dramatically on screen. While the concept was visually engaging, It sparked controversy when colorblind fans found it difficult to distinguish teams. The infamous Jets vs. Bills game in all-red and all-green uniforms was especially problematic and led to policy adjustments the following season. Before NFL players could spike the ball, slam it over goalposts, or choreograph dances, a simple finger point was once considered taunting. The league has long tried to balance sportsmanship with player expression. Over time, the NFL relaxed some of its celebration penalties to allow more fun, but certain actions, especially those viewed as directly disrespecting an opponent, still draw penalties, showing how the league still tightly controls on-field behavior. The NFL is one of the few professional leagues where coaches are not required to wear uniforms. Instead, head coaches typically don team-branded gear or business casual attire. This tradition stems from the early days when coaches didn't take the field. However, in the 1990s, the NFL mandated that only coaches sponsored by Reebok, later Nike, could wear suits, limiting the once common sight of sharply dressed sidelines. The Immaculate Reception is one of the most debated and iconic plays in NFL history. In a 1972 playoff game between the Steelers and Raiders, Pittsburgh's Franco Harris caught a deflected pass just inches from the ground and ran it in for a game-winning touchdown. Whether the ball hit the ground or was legally deflected remains controversial, but it marked a turning point for the Steelers' future dominance. The NFL's most valuable franchise, the Dallas Cowboys, is worth more than $9 billion as of 2025, making it the most valuable sports team on the planet. Their revenue comes from more than just winning games. It's about branding, merchandising, and massive stadium events. Owner Jerry Jones transformed the Cowboys into a marketing machine, with AT&T Stadium hosting everything from concerts to boxing matches, further enhancing the franchise's worth. During World War II, player shortages forced the NFL to merge teams. The most famous merger was between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Philadelphia Eagles in 1943, forming the awkwardly named Steagles. The following year, the Steelers merged again with the Chicago Cardinals. These temporary unions allowed the league to survive wartime drafts, showing how NFL teams adapted to global crises while maintaining the schedule and league integrity. NFL locker rooms are filled with strict rules, and one of the least known is the ban on playing fantasy football for money. Although players love fantasy just like fans, betting on fantasy leagues or participating in paid pools violates the league's gambling policies. Suspensions and fines have occurred for players violating this rule, underscoring the NFL's serious stance on maintaining the integrity of the game. The NFL didn't always use the same ball for kicking and regular play. Up until 1999, teams could submit a specially prepared ball, known as the K-ball, for kicking situations. These balls were often heavily modified, scuffed, heated, or shaved for better distance. Today, the league uses standardized, unmodified balls for all kicking plays to ensure fairness and eliminate any special team advantages. Tom Brady, widely regarded as the greatest quarterback of all time, was drafted 199th overall in the 6th round of the 2000 NFL Draft. 6 quarterbacks were chosen before him, and he wasn't expected to start. But when starter Drew Bledsoe was injured in 2001, Brady stepped in and never looked back, going on to win 7 Super Bowls and redefine the quarterback position with unparalleled longevity and poise. The NFL's Pro Bowl, the league's version of an all-star game, has long struggled with relevance and competitiveness. Players selected are often top-tier talents, but many either skip the event due to injury or personal reasons. Over the years, the game format has changed multiple times, including a conference versus conference setup, a fantasy-style draft, and even a non-contact flag football version. Despite its flashy appearance, the game is often criticized for lacking intensity and meaningful competition, highlighting the NFL's ongoing challenge to make the Pro Bowl a true spectacle. The NFL's Red Zone channel revolutionized how fans watch football. Launched in 2009, it provides a commercial-free broadcast that jumps from game to game, showing every touchdown and crucial play. It became an instant hit with fantasy football players and diehard fans, allowing people to follow multiple games simultaneously without waiting for highlights. Red Zone has been credited with keeping fans glued to the screen for 7 straight hours of action, often more engaging than traditional game broadcasts. In 2018, the NFL introduced a helmet rule designed to reduce head-first collisions. The rule states that it is a foul if a player lowers his head and initiates contact with his helmet against an opponent. While the intent was to improve player safety, the rule has been controversial due to its vague enforcement and the challenge of retraining players who've tackled a certain way their entire lives. Coaches and analysts alike have called for clearer guidelines and more consistent officiating. The New Orleans Saints home stadium, the Caesars Superdome, became a symbol of hope and resilience after Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans in 2005. The stadium was severely damaged and served as a temporary shelter for thousands of displaced residents. When the Saints returned to the Superdome in 2006, the emotional Monday Night Football game against the Falcons was electric. The Saints' blocked punt and win that night remain one of the most unforgettable moments in NFL history. The NFL has made significant strides in promoting diversity among its coaching ranks, especially with the creation of the Rooney Rule in 2003. This policy requires teams to interview at least one minority candidate for head coaching and senior football operations jobs. While the rule has led to more diverse interview pools, critics argue it hasn't substantially increased the number of minority head coaches hired, sparking ongoing debates about its effectiveness and enforcement. The loudest stadium in NFL history is Arrowhead Stadium, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. In 2014, Chiefs fans broke the Guinness World Record for the loudest crowd roar at a sports stadium, hitting an ear-splitting 142.2 decibels during a Monday Night Football game against the New England Patriots. That level of sound is comparable to standing next to a jet engine, and it demonstrates how fan support can give teams a massive home field advantage. The 1985 Chicago Bears are widely considered one of the greatest teams in NFL history, thanks to their dominant defense led by Mike Singletary, Richard Dent, and legendary coordinator Buddy Ryan. They finished the regular season 15-1 and crushed the Patriots 46-10 in Super Bowl 20. Their swagger extended beyond the field with the release of the Super Bowl Shuffle, a rap video featuring players dancing and rapping, an unprecedented marketing move that made the team even more iconic. Though today's NFL is a Sunday staple, Saturday used to be its primary game day. In the early 20th century, most professional games were played on Saturdays to avoid clashing with college football. It wasn't until the 1950s and 1960s, thanks to TV scheduling and the growing popularity of Sunday viewership, that the league began shifting more games to Sundays, eventually branding the day as synonymous with professional football in the U.S. The NFL's chain crew, responsible for marking down and distance with the orange chains on the sidelines, still uses mostly manual equipment despite major technological advances. Each chain is exactly 10 yards long, and its measurements can determine the outcome of critical plays. Although laser technology and ball tracking sensors exist, the league continues to rely on this low-tech system for its precision and tradition, often sparking controversy during close calls. The Cleveland Browns are the only NFL team without a traditional logo on their helmets. Instead, they sport a plain orange helmet, which has become a unique part of their identity. Despite their lack of on-field success in recent decades, the Browns' minimalist helmet design pays homage to the team's deep history, dating back to 1946. It stands out in a league full of flashy branding and logos. The NFL's overtime rules have been the subject of intense scrutiny and frequent changes over the years. Until 2010, games could be won with a field goal on the first possession of overtime, leading to complaints that teams never had a fair chance to respond. The rules were revised to guarantee both teams an opportunity unless the first possession ends in a touchdown. In 2022, further changes were made specifically for playoff games, ensuring that both teams get at least one possession regardless of what happens on the first drive, an effort to make the game's climax feel more just and competitive. In 1998, Randy Moss changed the perception of rookie wide receivers forever. Despite being passed over by several teams due to off-field concerns, Moss joined the Minnesota Vikings and immediately made an impact with his blazing speed and unmatched leaping ability. He scored 17 touchdowns that season, an NFL rookie record, and helped the Vikings set a then record for most points in a season. His dominance redefined how NFL teams viewed game-changing receivers and led to a greater emphasis on drafting athletic, explosive playmakers. The Philadelphia Eagles' Philly special trick play in Super Bowl 52 became one of the most iconic plays in NFL history. With the Eagles facing fourth down near the goal line, quarterback Nick Foles caught a touchdown pass after lining up as a receiver. The boldness of the call, made against the mighty New England Patriots, helped the Eagles secure their first Super Bowl win. The play showcased the evolution of offensive creativity in the NFL and instantly became a symbol of fearless, unorthodox strategy on the sport's biggest stage. The NFL's use of military themes, such as camouflage gear and salute to service games, has been both praised and criticized. While many appreciate the league honoring veterans and active duty soldiers, reports reveal that the Department of Defense paid millions to NFL teams for patriotic promotions. The controversy sparked debates about genuine support versus marketing optics, ultimately pushing the league to be more transparent and to separate heartfelt tributes from paid advertising. The West Coast offense revolutionized passing in the NFL. Developed by legendary coach Bill Walsh with the San Francisco 49ers in the 1980s, the system emphasized short, timed passes instead of deep throws. This allowed quarterbacks like Joe Montana to control games efficiently and surgically. The philosophy spread across the league and laid the foundation for today's pass-heavy offenses, shaping modern quarterback play and game tempo. The NFL's scouting combine includes a quirky drill known as the Wonderlic Test, a 12-minute cognitive ability test historically used to assess a player's problem-solving and learning speed. While some franchises still find value in it, many have questioned its relevance, especially after top athletes with low scores went on to have Hall of Fame careers. Its controversial role in player evaluation has led teams to increasingly focus on film study, character interviews, and football IQ instead. The frozen tundra of Lambeau Field lives up to its nickname. One of the coldest games in NFL history took place there during the 1967 NFL Championship, famously called the Ice Bowl. Temperatures dropped to minus 13 degrees Fahrenheit with wind chills of minus 48 degrees Fahrenheit. The field was so frozen that cleats couldn't grip it, and referees' whistles froze to their lips. Despite the brutal conditions, the Packers defeated the Cowboys in a dramatic finish, cementing the game's place in football lore. The Buffalo Bills made NFL history in the early 1990s by reaching 4 consecutive Super Bowls from 1990 to 1993, but heartbreakingly lost all 4. Despite the losses, their achievement remains unmatched in terms of consistent excellence and resilience. Led by quarterback Jim Kelly, running back Thurman Thomas, and receiver Andre Reed, the Bills showcased one of the most explosive offenses of the era and became symbols of perseverance, even in defeat. The NFL's Hard Knocks documentary series, produced by NFL Films and HBO, has given fans an unprecedented behind-the-scenes look at training camp since 2001. It highlights position battles, coach-player dynamics, and the emotional roller coaster of making an NFL roster. The show has turned fringe players into household names and changed how fans engage with the preseason, creating emotional connections before the regular season even begins. Before instant replay was standardized, controversial calls could dramatically alter the outcomes of NFL games. One of the most infamous was the 1979 AFC Championship game, where a clear fumble by Houston Oilers' Mike Renfro was ruled incomplete, costing the team a touchdown. Without replay, the call stood and led to significant backlash. Incidents like these built the case for implementing video review systems to improve officiating integrity and prevent such game-altering mistakes in the future. The NFL's No Fun League nickname originated in the early 2000s, a response to the league's crackdown on excessive celebrations and perceived overregulation of player behavior. From banning custom cleats to penalizing group dances, the NFL was accused of stifling individuality. Over time, backlash from players and fans led to the loosening of these rules. Today, celebrations are once again embraced, and the league even highlights the best ones weekly, showing a shift in culture and fan engagement priorities. When the Seattle Seahawks constructed their home stadium, Lumen Field, formerly CenturyLink Field, designers purposely created a structure that amplifies crowd noise. The result? One of the loudest home field advantages in the NFL. Seahawks fans, dubbed the 12th man, once created a small earthquake with their cheering, measured on a nearby seismograph during a Marshawn Lynch touchdown run in the playoffs. The synergy between architecture and fan energy here is practically weaponized. NFL officials undergo rigorous preparation before each season, including extensive film study, physical training, and annual testing on league rules. Despite the demands, most are part-time employees with day jobs as lawyers, teachers, or business executives. Their performance is constantly graded, and top officials may earn postseason assignments. While fans often blame refs for blown calls, the human element remains an unavoidable part of the sports drama. The NFL once featured barefoot kickers, a phenomenon that peaked in the 1980s. Players like Rich Karlis and Tony Franklin kicked field goals and extra points without shoes on their kicking foot, claiming it gave them better control. While the practice faded with the rise of specialized equipment and artificial turf, barefoot kickers were an unusual and memorable footnote in NFL history, exemplifying how individual quirks once had space in the professional game. The New England Patriots were fined and docked a first-round draft pick in 2007 for illegally videotaping opponents' defensive signals, an incident known as Spygate. The scandal rocked the NFL and tarnished the early success of the Patriots dynasty under Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Though they went on to win multiple titles afterward, the incident sparked ongoing debates about gamesmanship versus cheating and led to tighter security and rules around team surveillance. The NFL's transition to digital technology has transformed the way games are played and watched. Today, players wear RFID chips in their shoulder pads to track real-time movement and speed, which helps coaches evaluate performance and health. Fans, meanwhile, enjoy access to advanced analytics, play-by-play breakdowns, and interactive fantasy tools. This tech infusion has made the NFL one of the most data-driven sports leagues in the world. NFL players are required to participate in community service and charitable initiatives as part of league expectations, and many go above and beyond. Programs like My Cause, My Cleats allow players to wear custom cleats during games that spotlight causes they support, from cancer research to mental health. These initiatives have humanized players beyond their athletic achievements and have connected fans to broader social and philanthropic movements through football. The 2001 Super Bowl, played just months after the 9/11 attacks, became a powerful symbol of national unity. The game between the Patriots and the Rams opened with a stirring rendition of the national anthem by Mariah Carey and a flyover by the military. The Patriots' underdog victory, led by a young Tom Brady, was interpreted by many as a moment of hope and resilience. The event showed how football could provide emotional healing and national solidarity in times of crisis. The NFL has strict uniform rules, but players still find ways to express individuality. From Odell Beckham Jr.'s colorful cleats to Cam Newton's unique pregame outfits, fashion has become part of a player's brand. However, violations of uniform policy can result in fines. Players often view these fines as the price of personal expression, turning the sideline into a runway and bringing pop culture deeper into the game. The Los Angeles Rams were the first NFL team to add a logo to their helmets, introducing the now iconic Ram horns in 1948. Designed by running back Fred Gurkey, who was also a commercial artist, the horns were hand-painted on each helmet. This sparked a wave of visual branding innovations across the league. Today, helmet logos and colors are crucial to a team's identity and merchandise, making that Rams innovation a turning point in NFL marketing history. The NFL's most iconic trophy, the Vince Lombardi Trophy, is named after the legendary Green Bay Packers coach who led the team to victory in the first two Super Bowls. Created by Tiffany & Company, the trophy is made of sterling silver and stands 22 inches tall. Each year, a brand new one is crafted for the winning team. Despite its value, players often handle it casually during celebrations, like when Rob Gronkowski used it as a bat during a ceremonial first pitch, leaving a permanent dent. This blend of reverence and rowdy joy reflects how the trophy represents both legacy and fun in the NFL. In 2011, an NFL lockout threatened to cancel the season entirely due to a labor dispute between players and owners over revenue sharing and player safety. The lockout lasted 136 days and was the longest work stoppage in league history. Ultimately, a new collective bargaining agreement was reached that addressed rookie contracts, practice limitations, and a revenue split. The lockout's resolution preserved the full season and revealed how integral business negotiations are to the stability of professional sports. NFL teams can lose draft picks for violating league rules, a penalty that can have long-term effects. In 2020, the Houston Texans lost a pick for tampering, and in 2023, the Miami Dolphins forfeited a first-round selection due to illegal communication with Tom Brady and Sean Payton while they were still under contract elsewhere. Such punishments remind teams that rule-breaking extends beyond the field, and even powerful franchises must adhere to the NFL's strict code of conduct. The Detroit Lions have played on Thanksgiving Day every year since 1934, except during World War II, a tradition started by team owner George A. Richards to attract fans. It worked, and the game quickly became a staple of American holiday culture. In 1966, the Dallas Cowboys joined the tradition with their own annual Thanksgiving game, creating a doubleheader event. These games, now accompanied by national broadcasts and festive halftime shows, are as much a part of the holiday as turkey and stuffing. NFL cheerleading squads often operate independently from the teams themselves, functioning more like contractors than employees. They undergo intense auditions, maintain strict fitness standards, and often rehearse year-round, all while receiving modest pay. Despite the challenges, many see it as a stepping stone to careers in dance, media, or entertainment. However, lawsuits in recent years have brought attention to issues of wage disparity and workplace treatment, pushing teams to reform policies and offer better protections. The NFL has rules that govern the inflation of footballs, which came under intense scrutiny during the Deflategate scandal in 2015. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots were accused of intentionally underinflating balls during the AFC Championship game against the Colts, allegedly making them easier to grip. The controversy led to a 4-game suspension for Brady and a major investigation. As a result, the NFL introduced stricter ball handling protocols, including independent pressure checks and random testing during games. The Jacksonville Jaguars were awarded to the city of Jacksonville in 1993 as an expansion team, beating out much larger markets like Baltimore and St. Louis. Many were shocked by the decision, but the league saw potential in Florida's growing population and football culture. The Jaguars quickly found success, making the playoffs by their second season and reaching the AFC Championship game in 1996. Their early rise showed that small market teams could thrive with the right leadership and fan support. NFL players often undergo body composition scans, performance analytics, and sleep tracking as part of modern training regimens. These technologies are used to fine-tune diet, recovery, and performance at an individual level. Some teams even employ neuroscientists and biometric specialists to help optimize player reaction times and mental acuity. The scientific approach to player development demonstrates how the NFL has embraced high-performance science as a way to gain a competitive edge. The Hail Mary pass, a desperate long throw at the end of a game, got its name from Dallas Cowboys quarterback Roger Staubach in 1975. After throwing a game-winning touchdown to Drew Pearson, Staubach told reporters, "I closed my eyes and said a Hail Mary." The term stuck, and today it's used not just in football, but in everyday language to describe any last-ditch effort. It's one of the sport's most dramatic and unpredictable plays. The NFL's instant replay system was the first of its kind in American professional sports, but implementing it was no easy feat. Early attempts in the 1980s were slow and clunky, leading to its removal. After major technological improvements and public demand for accuracy, Replay was reintroduced in 1999 with coaches' challenges and booth reviews. Now, the system is a critical part of every game, with referees consulting high-definition footage to ensure crucial calls are correct. The NFL's blackout rule, once a major talking point, prevented local TV broadcasts of games that weren't sold out 72 hours in advance. This policy, in place for decades, was meant to encourage ticket sales but frustrated fans who couldn't attend in person. In 2015, the league suspended the rule, acknowledging the shift in how fans consume sports and the importance of TV ratings. With streaming and mobile viewing becoming dominant, the blackout rule now feels like a relic of a bygone media era. Mr. Irrelevant is the title given to the last player selected in the NFL draft. What started as a tongue-in-cheek moniker has turned into a celebrated tradition, complete with a parade and awards. Though the name implies insignificance, some Mr. Irrelevants have gone on to enjoy respectable careers. Most notably, quarterback Brock Purdy, selected last in the 2022 draft, defied all expectations by leading the San Francisco 49ers deep into the playoffs, proving that every pick truly counts. The NFL uses a special football for every scoring play. Each one is tagged and preserved by the league's operations team. These balls are often inscribed with details like the player, date, and game situation, and many are sent directly to the Hall of Fame or given to the player. It's part of the NFL's effort to document history in real time and preserve the moments that define careers and franchises alike. Some of the most iconic uniforms in NFL history were born out of necessity, not design brilliance. The Pittsburgh Steelers, for example, created their famous Bumblebee throwback jerseys based on their 1934 uniforms. Though fans are split on their aesthetics, the bold horizontal stripes became a talking point across the league. Uniforms, especially alternate and retro versions, now play a key role in fan engagement, merchandise sales, and team branding strategies. NFL team mascots are more than just fluffy entertainment. Many, like Jacksonville Jaguars or Blitz Seahawks, are highly trained performers who interact with fans, support charity events, and boost team spirit. Some even become local celebrities, known for daring stunts and comedy routines. Mascots help bridge generations of fans, keeping young audiences entertained while enhancing the overall stadium experience for all ages. The 2-minute warning is one of the most unique rules in professional sports. It was originally introduced in the 1940s because stadiums didn't have visible game clocks, so officials would alert teams when only 2 minutes remained. Even though modern scoreboards made this obsolete, the NFL kept the rule because it adds drama and allows for strategic stoppages, similar to a free timeout that changes game pacing in the final moments. The term pick six refers to an interception return for a touchdown, and it's one of the most exciting and momentum-shifting plays in football. The phrase combines pick, slang for interception, and six, the number of points scored for a touchdown. Players who specialize in these dramatic plays, like Deion Sanders or Ed Reed, have built reputations as game-changing defenders who could flip the scoreboard in seconds. The Arizona Cardinals are the oldest continuously run professional football franchise in the United States, dating back to 1898. They started as the Morgan Athletic Club in Chicago before joining the NFL in 1920. Over the decades, the franchise has moved from Chicago to St. Louis and eventually to Arizona. Despite limited postseason success, their long history gives them a unique place in NFL lore and showcases the league's evolution from humble roots to global fame. The doink heard round the world occurred in the 2018 NFC Wild Card game when Chicago Bears kicker Cody Parkey's last-second field goal attempt hit the upright and crossbar before bouncing out, sealing a win for the Philadelphia Eagles. The moment went viral instantly and was replayed endlessly across media. It not only became a defining moment in Bears history, but also reignited debate over the pressure placed on NFL kickers in high-stakes situations. NFL players are often assigned strict curfews during training camp and road trips, especially for younger or less experienced players. These curfews are meant to instill discipline and ensure rest, but veterans often get more leeway. Coaches track players using room checks or even electronic monitoring. Violating curfew can result in fines, reduced playing time, or even roster cuts, highlighting the level of professionalism expected even off the field. In 2007, the New England Patriots completed a perfect 16-0 regular season, the first since the NFL expanded to a 16-game schedule. Led by Tom Brady and Randy Moss, they set multiple offensive records and seemed destined for immortality. But in one of the greatest upsets in NFL history, they lost to the New York Giants in Super Bowl 42. The game featured the unforgettable helmet catch by David Tyree and reminded fans that perfection in football can vanish in a single moment of brilliance and resilience. The NFL maintains a quarterback school during the offseason to help rookie and backup QBs learn the complexities of professional playbooks and defensive schemes. Unlike any other position, quarterback development in the NFL requires mastering not just physical mechanics, but also mental sharpness. These programs involve classroom sessions, film breakdowns, and one-on-one coaching, emphasizing how crucial preparation and cognition are to success at the game's most scrutinized position. The NFL's Play 60 campaign was launched in 2007 to encourage children to get at least 60 minutes of physical activity every day. Backed by players, schools, and community programs, it addresses rising childhood obesity rates. Teams host youth camps, and players regularly visit schools to inspire kids to lead active lives. It's one of the NFL's most visible public service efforts and showcases how sports leagues can influence healthier lifestyles beyond entertainment. Tony Romo, former quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, made an unexpected splash in sports broadcasting after retiring. Known for predicting plays before they happened, Romo's insightful and enthusiastic commentary on CBS redefined the analyst role. Viewers were drawn to his ability to read defenses in real time and explain complex strategies with clarity. His success as a broadcaster reflects how players' intelligence and personality can find new life beyond the field. NFL teams invest millions of dollars into their practice facilities, some of which rival the amenities of luxury resorts. These complexes often include state-of-the-art weight rooms, nutrition stations, cryotherapy chambers, sleep pods, and even barbershops. The goal is to optimize every element of a player's routine, from recovery to mental wellness. Facilities like the Dallas Cowboys, the Star, have become symbols of how seriously the NFL approaches player performance year-round. The onside kick is one of the riskiest plays in football and has seen success rates fluctuate over the years. Rule changes in 2018, which limited running starts for the kicking team, dramatically reduced the play's effectiveness. While it's still used as a last-ditch effort when trailing late in games, its declining success rate has sparked discussions about potential alternatives, like giving teams a 4th and 15 opportunity instead to maintain suspense in late-game situations. Monday Night Football debuted in 1970 and changed the way Americans consumed sports. It was the first time a major sport aired live in prime time every week, turning football into an appointment viewing event. Legendary announcers like Howard Cosell, Don Meredith, and Frank Gifford brought both drama and humor, making the broadcast a cultural phenomenon. Today, the brand remains one of the most enduring weekly sports traditions on television. The San Francisco 49ers of the 1980s and early 90s were defined by innovation. Under head coach Bill Walsh, they introduced the West Coast offense and emphasized timing, precision, and short passes over power football. With Hall of Famers like Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and Steve Young, the 49ers won 5 Super Bowls in 14 years and created a dynasty that redefined excellence and elegance in professional football. Player jersey numbers in the NFL aren't assigned randomly. They follow a position-based system instituted in 1973. Quarterbacks wear 1 to 19, running backs 20 to 49, wide receivers 10 to 49 or 80 to 89, and so on. In 2021, the NFL relaxed its numbering rules, allowing more flexibility, especially for skill positions. The change was met with excitement, as players embraced numbers with personal significance, adding new layers of individuality to their on-field identity. The NFL has experimented with playing games overseas, most notably in London, Mexico City, and most recently Germany. These games draw massive international crowds and offer teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars a chance to grow their brand globally. International expansion is seen as a future frontier for the league, with talks of possibly placing a full-time franchise in London. This ambition shows the NFL's intent to become not just America's game, but the world's.